As always, I'd have to say first and foremost that cryptovibes.com has been the most extensive crypto educational hub for newbies. And you've given a lot of information and direction, and very good information and direction for newbies in general. And I think that newbies are the most important, honestly, in this whole thing. We're still fairly early, even though Bitcoin has been around for quite some time. We're still very early in this because, you're talking about less than 3% of the world really being involved in crypto. So the masses are not yet here. So that deems this to be very, very early. This is a big world. And this is something, crypto is something that is going to connect the world, surely connect us financially, but I think we seem to kind of really forget how big this world is. And we're in this microcosm of social media and marketing and, all of the fanfare about crypto, but it's still not a lot of people. You could still step outside of your home and go in your neighborhood and maybe talk to your neighbors, and they know nothing about this. You could go to some people who know a lot about a lot of things and they know nothing about this. I had a conversation recently with someone who's an advisor to a billionaire, huge celebrity, who knows nothing about this. So, again, with that in mind, this is very, very, very early. And this is one of the things that makes me truly believe that crypto really was created for the people. Really, really, really created for the people. No, we haven't gotten there yet, but the people who are cornering the market on this, so to speak, are very far and few. And crypto being largely pseudo anonymous, we really don't know what's going on and what's going on with who and who's doing what. But who we do know something is going on with is that's the people. That's the other 97% that are waiting to be financially liberated, or at least to have options and alternatives like Bitcoin originally was created for. There are people who are still waiting for that dream. And that dream has obviously not been fulfilled yet because it hasn't reached them yet. So, again, we're still early in this. There's no need to think that coming along that you're behind in the knowledge, you're behind in application, you're behind in investments, etc., because this has a much larger purpose than just investing. I know sometimes you look into this and it looks like a replica of the stock market. In fact, most newbies think that crypto is stocks. And they come to us and they're like, I'd like to purchase some stocks. So can I invest in your company? And then unaware that this is a new financial system, very similar to the current financial system where you have all kind of currencies that that represent different countries and different cultures. So now you have this internet place where you have all types of currencies that can represent more than just spaces. It actually can represent views, ideals, beliefs, core values in everything. So the fact that it's going to be a crypto world in that way, and it's going to give people an opportunity to express themselves financially and truly have a voice, because we all know money is voices, right? They say money talks. So, can you imagine that when crypto becomes prolific as it will be, that the money that is talking for people who traditionally did not have a voice and whose voices have not been heard, especially in terms of finances. You'll now have people who feel empowered because when they spend, and not spend because they feel like they need to, or they want to, or they're satisfying personal pleasures, urges, or whatever, they'll now be satisfying a greater ideal. And that is, you have to pay attention to me, my cause, my culture, my values, because you want my money. So, to say all of that, it applies to many different currencies. It definitely applies to Guapcoin and what we're doing at Guapcoin. is strengthening the global diaspora's financial voice, giving us something that we can speak loud and clear because we do spend a lot. We are the source of financial abundance for many people, many companies, many cultures, etc. But that money has not adequately flowed back to support us. So this gives us an opportunity to put a face to the money, to the dollar, and force acknowledgement of where that money is coming from, because we can always turn around and cut the flow of money to sources that are not giving back or are not uh, living in an equitable environment with us. So we can do a lot with this. It could be superiorly powerful. And a lot of times, although again, I created it on a smaller scope of representing, my world, my smaller world. And then I was introduced to the global world and realized that, this is going to be maybe even more impactful globally than it will be in America. Recently, been having discussions with a country that has parts of this country where they have no access to money at all. So when someone sends money to them, they literally have to wait weeks maybe to get that money to be able to do what they want to do. So we can clearly see how Guapcoin or cryptocurrency is going to solve their problems as well. So, it's just, unbelievable that in 2021, we still have people who are in the dark ages of money in general. Forget about, you know, just, everything else, but just the dark ages of money. I mean, they're aware of it, they know they need it, but getting it to them is a huge barrier. And we know that this is going to help solve that barrier. So we're in a really exciting time, and maybe it's going to take 2 or 3 years to get to the point where we see it proliferate at that level. But one of the beautiful things is when you're watching the growth of money and the building of money gives you a lot more patience because many of us in the past have not had that level of patience when it comes to investing, you know what I mean, or farming, even farming. But the idea that you are participating in a financial environment where you're watching it grow, although it may be volatile, you're seeing the potential every day. And you have a constant reminder of the potential and the growth. And then you're seeing it echo amongst the community and the community growing. It gives you a lot of patience. We've been involved in Guapcoin for, over 3 years now, and we're probably just starting to see the traction that we like to see, especially as a community. So, and I remember earlier in the beginning, in the early days, we kind of thought it was going to be like tomorrow, or maybe next month, or maybe the end of the year. Maybe, it'll be that point where everybody's talking about Guapcoin, and here we are 3 years later, and it's just starting to proliferate like that. But again, we've learned so much, we've discovered so much, we're planning so much. We're quite comfortable in the growth, in the steady growth that it takes to build this, because we're building something that's going to last, to the hopefully the end of our lives and beyond. So it's a very, very exciting time. And again, I wanted to stress the plight of the newbie and understand that we're all newbies in this. When there's only 3% involved and the 97% left to go, we're all newbies. We're all, there's nobody in this that really knows so much unless you're a developer. And then even as a developer, you don't know the economics of it. You don't know the front end of it. There's so many different aspects that are unknown to everybody. Nobody is clearly an expert on everything there is to know about crypto, because it's too much. There's too many sides to it, So don't feel intimidated when you walk into the space. It's a new space and it's perfectly open and ready for you to carve your place if you'd like to do that as well. There's so many industries yet to be converted to the crypto world. You might be the next person to convert an industry to the crypto world. You might be in insurance. You may be in real estate. You may be in all of these different industries that need that conversion to the crypto world and to blockchain. So it's wide open with opportunities. And that's on the opportunity and the creating side. Then you have just the community side and the merchant side. I envision there to be offline places, and offline sources of information with this. So again, it's not all in cyberspace. The offline side has to be built. The community side has to be built. The merchant side has to be built. So that's just to give you another indication of how wide open this is and how much more there is to be done here, and how we all have individual skills and individual gifts that can be implemented and are needed in the community, in the crypto community, especially in the Guapcoin community. So I urge you to not feel intimidated. I urge you to talk to your family and friends, and tell them about this thing, and tell them from a basic level, like get a wallet, install an app, a wallet, that's it. Start very, very basic. People come to me all the time. What do I do? Where do I start? That's because it's so much information out here that inundates you with unnecessary information that you probably won't even never need. I spoke the other day, and I spoke about nobody really knows when we started using the debit cards exactly. And no one knew the technology behind the debit card. And no one knew, you log into your online banking. Nobody knows the technology behind the online banking interface that you logged into neither. You just use it, So starting with that ease of use and giving people that encouragement is very, very necessary. And it's critical right now because they just may wake up and this is the status quo, just like the debit card. When you woke up one day and, and no one was using checks anymore. Everybody's looking at you like, what are you doing when you're in line writing a check? And very soon, people may be looking at you like, what do you have when you're counting out some cash in your hand or a debit card or whatever. So you want to expand yourself at least in a way of getting a wallet, getting into the ecosystem and getting you a little crypto here and there does not hurt. You know what I mean? Experimenting a little bit, what you can afford. I'm not an investment advisor neither, but there are a lot of great things out there. And nowadays, everybody's a champion for the great things. So I'm a champion for Guapcoin too. Um, but at any rate, I really wanted to appeal to the new people because again, that's who I'm heavily concerned with at this point. I realize that a lot of people don't even really appeal to the mom and pop store or the mom and pop that has to raise children. And what are we doing with this thing, this Bitcoin thing, or what are we doing with this crypto thing? Not everybody is like, I want to be a billionaire off of Bitcoin. That can be really intimidating because, again, when you look at the billionaires in Bitcoin, they don't look like you. So, we got to get to the point where, these people who are in the establishment of crypto, who are the boards of crypto, the foundations of crypto look like us so that we can be more comfortable in knowing that we're truly moving from financial oppression into financial freedom. So I'm not going to tie you up for a long time, but with that, I don't even know how long I've been talking. Every time I talk, I'm like, how long have I been talking? But again, that this is our main mission, to mobilize the people, because this is what this was created for. This was created for the people.
Thank you so much, Tavonia. That was fantastic. And it's what we needed to hear. We need some motivation. And I hope that people are paying attention and that they will be moved to take action. And we have a couple of hands raised. So let's address that. First, let me stop recording.